Did they know? Did farmers know about the lines, cars down streets as far as eyes can see? Families that never expected this to be their reality sit for hours, inching toward a church they've never been inside. Wait as vegetable-laden boxes are gingerly placed by gloved hands inside popped trunks, or carefully laid on back seats by masked church servers who never met a farmer and who never expected to dispense their crops. Feed my sheep takes on a whole new meaning in times like these, when schools can no longer fill the void for families, stretched beyond self-sufficiently, past the point of ability to purchase their own. No longer do neighbors glare, cast dispersions of shame, for they too wait in food lines along streets leading to churches, dispensing boxes filled with crops grown by farmers who never knew they'd be the saving grace of a nation in need of a new reason to go to church. Did they know?
License and registration, he can sense your aggravation.
On the head of the fallen
Remind me that
angel.
this is a team effort. Remind me to keep going.
Time, my shirt.
Did you know that your hands came with a ripple effect?
Like silk.
We got the same dreams. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears win by any means poetry.
Sway, look at me. Is a piece of the pie too good for me?
Some may call it rock the mic. We call it poetry. Welcome to Sojourn with Words. I'm your host, Sistah Joy, and I am so happy to have you join us once again. We're excited because we have with us none other than Adeke Rose. Now, some may know her as Karen Crawley Buckholz, but we call her by her stage name, her performance, her artist nom de plume, as one would say. Adeke Rose, welcome, welcome. We're so very happy to have you with us.
Thank you. It's amazing to be here. It's an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, welcome. We're very happy. Let's let our viewers know a little bit about you. First of all, Adeke Rose is a nationally known keynote speaker, poet, and spoken word artist. She was named one of CBS Baltimore's best poets for 2014 and uses her poetry to promote connection, growth, and healing in others. She is a licensed psychotherapist, and as such, she was concerned about reaching people, especially African Americans, who were underserved. And also avoidant of mental health system. In a non-threatening manner, she provides services that serve the community. So if you were to look at her poetry, one would say her poetry is a vehicle to promote understanding, healing, growth, and hope. Now, of course, her poetry covers themes such as self-image, grief and loss, PTSD. She reaches out to veterans, the disabled community, persons with dealing with mental illness and relationships, homelessness, domestic violence, sexual assault, love, healing, community, and many others. So as you can hear, and as you will soon see, the poetry of Adeke Rose is broad, but it's all about healing and wellness. So let's take on this mighty sphere of work that she brings through such a soft-spoken voice. She has a naturally humble nature, and yet her powerful presence makes her poetry the catapulting vehicle to really bring that effective and a very approachable message. Adeke, why don't you tell us in your own words, what is it that you achieve, that you aspire to achieve through your spoken word and poetry?
It really is something that I want to use to connect with other people. I've seen so many people. When I grew up, I saw my father struggle with his own mental health issues. And I didn't want anyone to feel alone. I wanted people to feel like someone understood what they were going through. And so I've used my poetry to try to connect with not just broad themes and broad audiences, but that individual person that feels isolated and alone, that nobody really understands what they're going through.
Okay. Well, certainly as a licensed clinician and psychotherapist, you come to the empathy and compassion arena well equipped to assist and support and guide and provide the resources that the community in need very much deserves and can count on. Now, I understand that in addition to being a poet and spoken word artist, you're also an author. And let's see now, you have 4 books of poetry and also 2 albums of poetry. So do you often incorporate music with your spoken word or poetry? Or is it, when we say album, is that a term of art and it's strictly poetry?
It's a combination. My husband's actually a musician, so we collaborate a lot, and he'll do music. And another artist that works with me, Jay Thompson, who produces my CDs. The combination of him and my husband, David B., do the music for all of my albums.
Okay. And before we get away from the product arena, how can persons get your books and albums? Is there a website? Is there a venue where your works are readily available?
Yes, the website is adekerose.com, ADEKE, Rose, ROSE.com. They can also find my work on Amazon. One thing I would like to say about products, though, because this is a time where artists are really struggling, and because I have another career, I would encourage people who want to purchase something to purchase from an artist that lives on their artistic creations, who is struggling right now because they're not able to perform. And so I would really strongly encourage them to find an artist that really is trying to make a musician or a poet, spoken word artist that lives on their income as an artist. And please support them. That would be the best gift for me.
Thank you for that. And you're so very right. This is a difficult time for many artists. The community of artists have rallied together in support of one another. But gestures, very sincere gestures, such as what you just made, goes a long way towards showing the very kinship, the very connectedness of the artist community. We want to make sure that we do provide the type of network that enables the art to thrive. And also, in order for the art to thrive, the artist has to as well. So thank you very much for that. Now, you mentioned that you do have another career. So I do want to mention that you're an adjunct faculty of psychology at a local community college. You're a member of the American Counseling Association and the Association of Professional Women and Zeta Phi Beta sorority. So this is someone who's well connected and has lots of supports systems in place. And that's important for artists to understand that we can't be out here by ourselves. We need to be connected, and we need to understand that in order for us to serve, we have to have those who assist us in that endeavor. So let's see, when did poetry become significant to you?
I was very fortunate. I was very blessed. My mother loved African American literature, and so growing up in the '60s, there was a ton of African American artists. It was a real renaissance, and so my mother would read poetry to me until I was old enough to read it for myself. So I fell in love with poetry. I fell in love with literature in general, and began to perform even as a young child and early adolescent. So by the time I made it to high school, I was writing regularly. I was performing regularly. So it's been part of who I am, I guess.
Okay. So when you think about the current pandemic and the political climate and the movements and everything that's happening today, well, maybe we could hear a poem that you have that maybe somewhat addresses that, or just a poem of your choosing. Why don't we hear a poem by Adeke Rose introducing the Sojourn with Words family to your poetry?
Okay, I'm going to start with something a little heavy, but it's related to the Black Lives Movement, a lot of the things that have been going on. And this one is sort of a hybrid because I wrote it for a police officer, friend of mine, who, as an African American, was feeling really torn. And again, the name of this is Black and Blue. He is black and blue, filled with internal bruises, walking the neighborhood where he was once raised. Once raised Cain, now he is Cain and unable to find a place to belong. Black and blue. He is persona non grata, pummeled with insults like pig, murderer, sellout, rocks thrown, spit upon by his black brothers. When he defends them, his fellow blues call him soft, traitor, sellout, snitch, threaten his livelihood. He thought he could make a difference. Now he is taunted for such innocence, accomplished to genocide. There is no place to hide. Yet he knows he could be next to die. His blues run deep. His uniform only surface. When removed, he is just another black face in the crowd. Walking wounded, he bleeds anger, a winter soldier. He turns glacier and yells, freeze, assume the position. While he detests the position he finds himself in. Black and blue. Powerless, yet ordained with power. Some innocent cower, others rebel. The illusion of public servant has become his private hell. So he drinks, batters, depresses his way through. Black and blue. Dreams of putting a gun to his head while other blue colleagues shoot his black brothers instead. He is a marked man, viewing the world through trauma-filled eyes until he is finally dead inside. And the world becomes a crime scene. Every person a suspect. Only in his nightmares can he reject his indoctrination, imprisoned in his freedom within this nation. Black and blue.
Wow. Okay. Karen, Adeke Rose, that's so powerful. I'm a bit off balance here. And I just That was so moving. That was very, and I see how you speak about the issues, the healing that clearly would touch anyone that has a soul. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. I'd like to see. I'd like to see if. Well, why don't we talk about you? You were on hiatus for about 18 months, and can you tell us what that was about, or is that not really related to your walk as an artist?
Sure. I became very ill, spent about 2 months in the hospital, and realized that I needed to take time out. I have an autoimmune disease that affects my lungs and my heart. So, and a lot of African American women in particular struggle with things like lupus, and so I wanted to be an example of self care. So I took time to take care of myself, to get stronger, to heal physically and emotionally. Um, and although I've, you know, really, really missed being on stage, I knew it was the right thing to do because
Right.
now I feel stronger and I feel ready. And I've also been an example for others that it's okay to take care of yourself.
Absolutely, and that's part of the cycle, the circle. As a psychotherapist, you're always giving. So there comes a point in which we have to nourish self. We have to heal self, and it's
Yeah.
very essential. That's a message that needs to be heard, certainly in our community. So oftentimes, particularly as women of color, we find ourselves with the hand saying, "How can I serve you? How can I help you?" But we have to recognize when it's time for us to receive, to be on the receiving
Yes.
end. So thank you for that example, and thank you for that message. It's absolutely essential. What are some of the things that bring you peace in your life when talking about self care and healing? And what would you recommend to others that are looking for a way? Because sometimes we find, this guilt. We're just so accustomed to being the strong. We must be, the caregiver. But what would you recommend to others? We don't want to have
Well,
to wait till we're in the hospital.
exactly. We're so socialized, especially as women, that we're supposed to do for others all the time, as parents, as grandparents, and sometimes we don't know how to just say, no, it's okay to be a little selfish. Self-care is not selfish, but
Yes.
we don't know the difference.
Yeah.
And so I encourage people to think about what do you do in a day, in the course of a day, what is it that you do to take care of you? Because most of us can't think of, well, last week I went and got my nails done, or I got my hair done, and then they've done nothing.
Yeah.
Self care has to be done on a daily basis. And so I'm lucky. My grandsons live with me, and they bring me so much joy. They keep me young.
Yes.
I can play with them, something that
Play
really just
is
energizes
essential.
me.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
We have a lot of family time, especially being quarantined. So we have our movie nights, and we cook together, we bake together, and I try to make sure that make time for family and for me. I love to read. So curling up in a chair with a book makes me very happy. And
Okay, okay. Well, I'm going to share another poem, and then I'd like for you to share a poem. And,
sure.
and this poem is titled "What Memories." What memories? What memories could be conjured, reflected in this three-way mirror of life's dressing room, where time, her sole attendant, waits on you, stands at the helm of your tomorrows, guards each blocked memory, stories suppressed for sanity's sake, each of which would take you past the brink. What doors would be unlocked, could be unlocked, were you to welcome disassembled specks of wrecked reflections that today taunt your very soul? You see the all too familiar shadows in alleyways and alcoves where whispers scream in disparate rhythms to which you have danced all your life. Would you pursue fantasy as your escape? Vision realities so far from your todays, they unfold upon and inside you, sufficient to only allow shallow breath, taking you to realms where air is sweet, where possibility greets you not with cynicism, but honor and beauty, parts of a prism that refract into fractured fragments, precariously poised between brilliance and indulgence. You learned long ago that such duality makes for excellent imagery. Yet it is memory who strangles all your strivings. He alone is your mirrored partner who shields, blocks you from truths, warns you to forget memories that dance too close to daybreak, too close to REM-fluttering eyelids and inside minds that find reverie in recurring dreams of familial bliss, only to be caught in cataclysmic scenes of chaos and decay. It is this dance that keeps memory shifted, yet somehow allows you to remain sane. What memories?
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. And now from our featured poet here on Sojourn with Words, Adeke Rose, what would you share?
Marathon. Blues are black women, rounded notes and heated rhythms. We be John Lee Hooker, Fats Domino, Billie Holiday. We walking healers with heartache. You could always find a reason not to love someone. See the glimmer of reality, break through the fantasy, then cut your losses and run. Love is a shadow we chase, but never catch. We play dodgeball with love. So afraid of pain, we duck out, call the game, claim file, bench ourselves, then we are back on the prowl, wondering how to share our heart. Find the perfect love, the right fit, as if love were like a new pair of shoes, until you find the wrong heels. Look pretty until the pain forces you to discard them, bare yourself, become vulnerable. You walk away tentatively and invest in running shoes so you can sprint away the next time love doesn't seem true. Let me coach you to leap over love's hurdles, to run toward and not away. Commitment is a marathon. It's not a 5K. Remember, if you jump the gun, you'll be disqualified. Too fast, and you won't last the distance. Persistence, when the road is rocky, will take you far. Do you know what it takes to get to the finish line? Some say that love is blind, but maybe it's just accepting. You can always find a reason not to love someone. See the glimmer of reality, break through the fantasy, then cut your losses and run. Or you can pace yourself. Stretch first in order to grow. Forget everything you think you know. Embrace the euphoria of endurance. Agree on relationship goals. Don't leave the other behind. And together, you can cross that finish line.
Ooh, all right, all right, all right. Thank you, Adeke Rose, vintage Adeke Rose. That's the voice I'm most familiar with. I love
Yes,
I'm very honored to have you here on Sojourn
thank
with
you.
Words. And when we talk about poets who give to the community, who make a difference in the community, it's poets like you, Adeke Rose, that we're very, very honored to have you here on Sojourn with Words. And we want our viewers to understand that we want them to be in touch with you as well. So Adeke Rose, is there an email address that persons can be in touch with you, or would you prefer that they simply visit your website and it's already set up for comments?
They can email me. I have two email addresses, adeke.rose@yahoo.com.
Okay, that's probably the easiest.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be the easiest since it's my name.
It's your name, yeah. So we definitely want our viewers to reach out to our featured poet today, our guest poet, who is just a resource that I hope you will call upon. Her spirit is that of a giving artist. So don't take advantage of it, but understand that if you find yourself wanting to connect with a compassionate and empathetic artist and poet and spoken word artist, whether it be one-on-one or perhaps you're hosting an event once we're past the pandemic era that we're virtually held hostage in. But this is an artist that you want to stay in touch with, Adeke Rose. She has much to give, and we're blessed to have her with us today. So I know that there's many opportunities that lie ahead for viewers here in Prince George's County, but also throughout, because now with the virtual platform, we have many who will be able to access the program in this virtual technology. Be in touch and let us know what you think about Sojourn with Words. What would you like to see? Who would you like to see on Sojourn with Words? Make it happen by sharing your information with us, and we'll reach out whenever and however we can. So Sojourn with Words, of course, this is our 15th year. We're honored to have received 2 tellies. We are just continuing to find how can we make a difference in the community. And certainly now that I'm wearing a couple of hats, certainly as Poet Laureate for Prince George's County, we want to make sure that people understand that mine is a position of service. So I need to hear from you. I need to know what it is that you want poetry to address, whether it's me writing on a particular subject or you sharing what you've written on a particular subject. Please let us know. That's the end of this show. We want to make sure that you stay connected with CTV, Sojourn with Words. Always, we want to keep the community connected. We want to keep the community writing. So pick up that pen and let us know what you wrote. Sojourn with Words. Until next time, I'm Sistah Joy, your host. Good night.